In the United States, the law for murder varies by jurisdiction. In most U.S. jurisdictions there is a hierarchy of acts, known collectively as homicide, of which first-degree murder and felony murder are the most serious, followed by second-degree murder, followed by voluntary manslaughter and involuntary manslaughter, which are not as serious, and ending finally in justifiable homicide, which is not a crime. However, because there are at least 52 relevant jurisdictions, each with its own criminal code, this is a considerable simplification. Sentencing also varies widely depending upon the specific murder charge. Life imprisonment is a common penalty for first-degree murder, but its meaning varies widely. Capital punishment is a legal sentence in 28 states, and in the federal civilian and military legal systems. The United States is unusual in actually performing executions, with 34 states having performed executions since capital punishment was reinstated in 1976. The methods of execution have varied, but the most common method since 1976 has been lethal injection. In 2019, a total of 22 people were executed, and 2,652 people were on death row. The Federal Unborn Victims of Violence Act, enacted in 2004 and codified at 18 U.S. Code Section 1841, allows for a fetus to be treated as a victim in crimes. Subsection of that statute specifically prohibits prosecutions related to consented abortions and medical treatments. If murder is committed within the borders of a state, that state has jurisdiction, and in a similar way, if the crime is committed in the District of Columbia, the D.C. Superior Court retains jurisdiction. Though in some cases involving U.S. government property or personnel, the federal courts may have exclusive jurisdiction. If, however, the victim is a federal official, an ambassador, consul or other foreign official under the protection of the United States, or if the crime took place on federal property or involved crossing state borders, or in a manner that substantially affects interstate commerce or national security, then the federal government also has jurisdiction. If a crime is not committed within any state, then federal jurisdiction is exclusive. For example, vessels of the U.S. Navy are the U.S. Merchant Marine in international waters and U.S. military bases worldwide. In addition, murder by a member of the United States Armed Forces of a prisoner while under custody of the United States Armed Forces is in violation of Article 118 of the Uniform Code of Military Justice, and can result in the perpetrator being tried by a general court-martial, subjecting to certain types of jurisdictions within its own borders or with foreign nations. Jurisdiction over the crime of murder can be complex as a result of the principle of dual sovereignty that is part of federalism. In cases where a murder involves both state and federal jurisdiction, the offender can be tried and punished separately for each crime without raising issues of double jeopardy, unless the court believes that the new prosecution is merely a sham forwarded by the prior prosecutor. In the United States, there is no statute of limitations on the crime of murder. States have adopted several different systems for classifying murders by degree. The most common separates murder into 2 degrees, and treats voluntary and involuntary manslaughter as separate crimes that do not constitute murder. The Model Penal Code classifies homicides differently, without degrees. Under it, murder is any killing committed purposely and knowingly, manslaughter is any killing committed as a result of recklessness, and negligent homicide is any killing resulting from negligence. Some states classify murders differently. In Pennsylvania, first-degree murder encompasses premeditated murders, second-degree murder encompasses accomplice liability, and third degree serves as a catch-all for other murders. In New York, first-degree murder involves special circumstances, such as the murder of a police officer or witness to a crime. Multiple murders, or murders involving torture, under this system. Second-degree murder is any other premeditated murder. The New York statutes also recognize murder for hire as first-degree murder. Texas uses a scheme similar to New York's, but refers to first-degree murder as capital murder, a term which typically applies only to those crimes that merit the death penalty. Some states, such as Florida, do not separate the two kinds of manslaughter. Under the common law, an assault on a pregnant woman resulting in a stillbirth was not considered murder. Remedies were limited to criminal penalties for the assault on the mother and tort action for loss of the anticipated economic services of the lost child, for emotional pain and suffering, or both. With the widespread adoption of laws protecting unborn life, the assailant could be charged with that offense, but the penalty was often only a fine and a few days in jail. A number 0.